So I was talking that today we are going to discuss diabetes mellitus, and it is also known as hypoinsulinism because the cause of disease is deficiency of insulin or the reduction in the quantity of insulin as as, uh, as less than normal. So that is also a cause. So hypoinsulinism is a well-known term. It indicates the deficiency of insulin. So now coming to the definition, if you are asked to write the definition of diabetes mellitus, so it can be defined as diabetes mellitus is an endocrine disorder characterized by polyuria, polyphagia, loss of body condition, and development of cataract. So these are the clinical manifestation of the disease. So you might be knowing, as I told you, this is the deficiency of insulin, and insulin is being secreted from the beta cells of isolates of Langerhans, which is a part of pancreas. So these beta cells, these are endocrine glands, and that is why it is endocrine disorder. So diabetes mellitus is an endocrine disorder and characterized by polyuria, means animal feel thirsty. It takes more water all the time. Polyphagia means animals feel hungry all the time. So polyphagia is there. Animal will try to eat more and more. Then even the animal is eating more and more, but still there will be loss of body condition. The animal will become weaker and weaker, and there will be development of cataract in the due course of time. So these are the basic and most common clinical manifestations of this disease. So if you are getting such symptom, you can suspect the animal to be suffering from diabetes mellitus. So this is the definition. Now coming to the etiology. So etiology is well understood, as I told you in the beginning. That is, the disease is known as also known as hypoinsulinism. So it means insulin deficiency. That is the only etiology. But to categorize it in different heads, we can see that insulin deficiency can be of two types. One is called absolute insulin deficiency. Here, absolute insulin deficiency, and it happens because if there is destruction of beta cells, and when the beta cells are destroyed, in that case, there will not be the secretion of insulin because insulin is being secreted from the beta cells of isolates of Langerhans. So when beta cells are damaged or destruction of beta cells are there, then there will be insulin deficiency, and that deficiency is called absolute deficiency, absolute insulin deficiency. And when there is absolute insulin deficiency and the diabetes caused by that condition is called as type 1 diabetes or insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, IDDM. So when the beta cells are damaged, there will be actual deficiency of the insulin, and when the insulin is deficient, then that type of diabetes will be called as type 1 diabetes and also known as insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, IDDM. The second insulin deficiency is relative insulin deficiency. So it happens, suppose the requirement of insulin is more, but the secretion is less. So relatively, whatever the amount of insulin is required, but the secretion is less, then you can say the insulin is deficient relatively as compared to the requirement. That is another deficiency. There may be the normal beta cells, but they are not secreting proper insulin. Or the second factor is insulin is there, but the cells which are affected by insulin, those receptors present on the cells are becoming insensitive. And when the receptors present on the cells becoming insensitive to insulin, in that case also that insulin is of no use. So that type of deficiency of insulin is called relative deficiency. And when the receptors which are present on the cells, because of which insulin can act on a cell and make the cell capable to utilize glucose for its energy and other things. So that hampered, and the cells become unable to utilize glucose in that case. So that relative insulin deficiency leads to type 2 diabetes mellitus or non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Why it is non-insulin dependent? Because insulin is there, but the cells the receptors present on the cells, they have become insensitive. Earlier, when the cells were normal, receptors were normal, that insulin can bind to that receptor and it can act, that it can perform its action. But when that receptors become insensitive, that insulin cannot bind there, or if it binds also, it cannot perform its function. And that type of deficiency is called non-insulin dependent. So insulin cannot work there. So that type of diabetes mellitus is type 2 diabetes mellitus. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any confusion?
सर ये चीज ये सर जो ये कैटेगराइजेशन है तो ये ह्यूमन बीइंग होता है या डॉग में भी होता है इस तरह से क्या?
सब में होता है, ये तो बेसिक है ना, चाहे वो किसी में हो, बट वी आर डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द डॉग्स एंड कैट्स बिकॉज वी आर डीलिंग विद द एनिमल. तो ये डायबिटीज वही है जो वहां होता है वही यहाँ होता है, और उसको इसी तरह से कैटेगराइज करते हैं. टाइप 1 और टाइप 2 है, क्योंकि ये है कि टाइप 2 अगर डायबिटीज है और आप इंसुलिन देंगे भी तो भी वो क्योर नहीं होगा, क्योंकि इंसुलिन वो रिसेप्टर पे बाइंड नहीं कर सकता, वहां वो एनिमल का रिसेप्टर ही चेंज हो चुका है. तो रिलेटिव इसलिए इसको कैटेगराइज किया गया है कि ट्रीटमेंट में आसानी होती है. सो नाउ कमिंग, बट इन केस ऑफ animals or dogs, type 2 is rare. Type 1 diabetes mellitus is found mostly. Cats are prone for the type 2 diabetes. So now coming to the etiology, this epidemiology, basically the middle-aged dogs are more prone, 4 to 14 years of age, and the occurrence of this diabetes mellitus is highest in the age group of 7 to 9 years. Female are more prone than the male, so female are affected more frequently affected with this diabetes mellitus. So this is the fact. Why they are happening like this, it is not established, but this is the fact. You should know that epidemiologically you will get more diabetes in case of female rather than male. And these are some breeds like poodle, dachshund, beagle, terrier. They are more affected, more commonly affected with this disease. Now coming to the pathogenesis. So as I've told you in the definition that it is an endocrine disorder because insulin is being secreted, it's an hormone and secreted from an endocrine gland. That is why if any problem in that will be endocrine problem. And it is characterized by polydipsia, polyuria, polyphagia, loss of body condition, and cataract. So how these things happen? So if you want to understand the pathogenesis, if you see, look at this chart, I have divided the pathogenesis in two categories. One pathogenesis is overall on the body and how the glucose content increases in the body or in the circulation. And second one is at the cellular level, what changes occur. So when we are knowing it very well that glucose utilization is dependent on insulin. So insulin is required if a cell want to utilize glucose. For that, insulin will be required. So insulin makes a cell capable to utilize glucose from circulation for its energy and so without insulin, a cell cannot take up glucose and utilize it. So for that, insulin is must. So glucose utilization is insulin dependent. It is a fact. When there will be insulin deficiency, definitely the cell will not utilize that glucose, and that glucose will remain in the blood circulation itself. Whatever the animal has taken, that glucose will be absorbed and it will go to the circulation. From circulation, because of insulin, the cells are using or utilizing that glucose. But since in this condition, insulin is deficient or insulin is not present there, so there will be hyperglycemia in the circulation. So hyperglycemia means increase in glucose concentration in the blood circulation. So when cells are not utilizing the glucose will remain in the circulation and there will be hyperglycemia. And when this glucose, high glucose level, it crosses the threshold value of renal system, and that is 175 to 220 milligram per dl, then that glucose will pass the renal filtration and it will appear in the urine. And when glucose is present in the urine, that condition is called glycosuria. So insulin is deficient, it is causing hyperglycemia. When the hyperglycemia reaches a level of 175 to 200 to 20 milligram per dl, then it will pass the renal filtration and when they will pass the renal filtration, it will come to the urine, and that condition is called as glycosuria. That is also a condition of a clinical manifestation of diabetes. And when glycosuria happens, when glucose is present in the urine, it absorbs more and more water from the body. So maximum water will come along with the glucose. So because glycosuria creates an osmotic diuresis. So it's the effect of glucose is like an osmotic diuretic. So because of the presence of glucose in that filtration of renal filtration, it will absorb more and more water from the body, and because of that there will be more amount of urine formation, because water is coming along with the glucose in the urine. So there will be polyuria. So animal will urinate most frequently. Now there will be excessive formation of urine, and then that is why animal will be urinating time to time, not time to time, and more frequently. And when animal will be urinating more, then definitely there will be requirement of more water to the body. Animal will feel thirsty also. So animal will try to take more and more water also, and that condition is known as polydipsia. So that is the chart. So when glucose, we know that glucose utilization is insulin dependent, and when insulin is deficient in animal, that will lead to hyperglycemia. And hyperglycemia, when crosses the renal threshold value, it will appear in the urine, and that is called as glycosuria. And because of presence of glucose in the urine, the water is also passing the renal filtration. Maximum water is coming through the urine. So there will be excessive formation of urine, and animal will urinate most frequently, and that condition is called polyuria. And when animal will be urinating more and more, water will come out from the body more and more, then animal will try to take it, to cope up the condition. So there will be polydipsia also. So this is one phase of this pathogenesis. Now if we come to the second phase, at cellular level, if you see, there in circulation it is hyperglycemia, but cells are unable to utilize that glucose. So inside the cell there will be hypoglycemia, because cells are unable to take that glucose from the circulation. So when cells are unable to take up that glucose, they will be hypoglycemic. And when the cells will be hypoglycemic, it has two effects. The one is there will be stimulation of satiety center. This satiety center is regulating the hunger. When the animal is eating something, it will absorb, the glucose will go to the circulation, and cell will utilize that. In normal condition, then satiety center will not be stimulated. But whenever the cellular content of glucose goes down below normal, then the satiety center is stimulated, and animal will feel hungry, and there will be development of polyphagia. So if you are feeding the animal, still it will feel hungry, because at cellular level the hypoglycemic condition is there, and that cellular hypoglycemia stimulates the satiety center, and because of that stimulation of satiety center, animal will feel more hungry, and when the animal is hungry, it will take more and more food, and that condition is known as polyphagia. On the other hand, this cellular hypoglycemia, it causes gluconeogenesis. Okay. So on the other hand, this cellular hypoglycemia, it causes gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis means formation of glucose molecule from other than the carbohydrate, like fat and protein. So from fat and protein, the cell will try to synthesize the glucose, because they are unable to take up the glucose from circulation. So they will try to synthesize it from fat and protein, and that condition is called gluconeogenesis. So this cellular hypoglycemia, it stimulates gluconeogenesis. So for this gluconeogenesis, you know, there should be requirement of fat. So that fat will be mobilized from the fat depots. And what are the fat depots in animals? That subcutaneous fat. So when there will be mobilization of fat depots, the subcutaneous fat will be mobilized for the utilization by the cells. There will be loss of body conditions. So whenever you see, whenever the animal become anorectic or becomes sick, they use to generate energy from that fat, that subcutaneous fat, and they become cachectic. Cachectic means height bound condition. दुबले पतले हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि सबक्यूटेनियस फैट का मोबिलाइजेशन हो जाता है. तो डायबिटीज के केस में मोबिलाइजेशन क्यों होता है? जब सेलुलर हाइपोग्लाइसीमिया होती है, उस कंडीशन में ग्लूकोनियोजेनेसिस स्टिमुलेट हो जाती है, वो सिंथेसिस होने लगती है ग्लूकोज की फैट और प्रोटीन से. जब फैट से प्रोटीन ग्लूकोज की सिंथेसिस होनी होगी, तो वो फैट का मोबिलाइजेशन जहां डिपॉजिट है, जो सबक्यूटेनियस फैट में नॉर्मल एनिमल में डिपॉजिट रहता है, वो फैट मोबिलाइज होके सेल को यूटिलाइजेशन के लिए आएगा, और जब वहां से उस फैट का मोबिलाइजेशन हो जाएगा तो जानवर की हड्डियां दिखने लगती हैं. So animal will be cachectic, and that condition is called cachexia. So animal will become cachectic, weaker, no, hide-bound condition. That cachexia develops. On the other hand, again, the gluconeogenesis, during the process of gluconeogenesis, there will be formation of ketone bodies, and that ketone bodies will be accumulated in the circulation, and ultimately there will be the development of ketoacidosis. When maximum ketone body, excessive accumulation of ketone bodies in the circulation is called ketoacidosis. And since it is because of diabetes, so this ketoacidosis is known as diabetic ketoacidosis. So this is the whole pathogenesis of the diabetes mellitus. So is there anything to ask?
नहीं सर.
हाँ,
ये फीमेल में ही ज्यादा क्यों होता है?
that is you can say the genetic, because of some genetic makeup. It is not a fact, no, it is just established. They have means they have recorded the cases, and they have found that in females it is more. So that is not, there is not an established reason till now, but maybe because of some genetic makeup that is there, that is something different from the clinical aspect. So in females it is more. So we cannot say why it is more. Like if you see the many conditions are there, baldness is more in male in case of human. Why it is more in male? It is because of genetic makeup. It is not that some clinical cause is not there. So that is why it is there. It is because of some genetic makeup. Anything else? कोई पूछना है? ये समझ में आ गई पैथोजेनेसिस?
जी सर.
इसको एक बार पढ़िएगा, समझ में आ जाएगी. Now coming to the clinical findings. Suppose a case is being, mute your suppose a case is presented to you, and how you will think of the diabetes mellitus. So you will get the, if you record the history, they will say the polyuria. They will say the animal is urinating more and more several times. Then if they will also complain there is loss of body condition, though the animal is eating normally or more than that. So animal is eating food normally, or even more food, taking more food, because appetite is very good because of the stimulation of satiety center. But still there is loss of body condition, and body condition is lost because of mobilization of fat that I have told you in the pathogenesis. So loss of body condition is there, polyuria is there, it is urinating more and more, there will be weakness, lethargy, animal will be tired with a very little exercise. Then recurrent episodes of skin infection. When glucose level is high in the blood circulation, a lot of infections used to take place. So skin infection is also common in case of diabetes mellitus. You may get cystitis. No, there will be inflammation of urinary bladder, and it is because of abnormal presence of abnormal component in the urine, that is glucose. Normally glucose doesn't present in the urine in normal animals, but when glucose is coming out of the urine, that's because of the presence of that glucose, there will be cystitis. It is irritant to that mucosa and other. Then there will be cataract formation. In spite of the young age, there will be bilateral cataract. The both eye, it will be, the lens will be opaque. So cataract is very common in diabetic patients. And ultimately, as I told you, there will be diabetic ketoacidosis. So ketotic breath will be there. So in ketosis, you might be studied, when animal takes respiration, you can smell that ketotic breath. So in this case also, ketotic breath will be there. So these are the clinical findings on the basis of which we can suspect the animal that it might be suffering from diabetes mellitus. Now coming to the diagnosis again, if you want to, these are the clinical symptoms. If you want to diagnose it properly, then what are the factors because of which we can diagnose? So again, I told you the epidemiology, the age group. So 7 to 9 years of age, it will be the at the highest. No, if the animal is of middle age, it should not be too young or too old. In the middle age, it is the diabetes mellitus is at the peak. So when animal is having that age group, and if you are getting these symptoms, then you can suspect that, oh, animal might be having that diabetes mellitus. For example, yesterday we got a dog of 8 years old, and it is having bilateral cataract. Skin problems were also were there. So we have given the sample for blood glucose estimation. Then again, if glycosuria is there, you can estimate the urine. You can test the urine for Benedict test, and you will get the presence of glucose in the urine. That is also indicating the diabetes mellitus. Again, if you are estimating the blood glucose level repeatedly and you are getting fasting blood glucose, means when the animal is on fast, it has not taken anything, and you are estimating blood glucose level and it is more than or equal to 150 milligram per dl, then you can say this is a case of diabetes mellitus. Because if animal is under fast, the glucose level should go down. It should be 80 or 70 or something on the lower side. But if it is because without having anything within 1 year, 1 hour or 2 hours of interval, if you are getting repeated value, higher value of this glucose level in the blood, you can say this is a diabetes mellitus. Another test is there, glucose tolerance test. It is being performed to confirm the diagnosis. So these are the tests, and the clinical symptoms and history and age, everything can be analyzed to get to reach a diagnosis. Now coming to the treatment. So as I told you, 2 types of diabetes are there, but as per our animals are concerned, only type 1 is most important. So in diabetes mellitus, if we talk about the treatment, since it is a multiple organ affecting disease, it is not a disease that only hyperglycemia is there. When there will be hyperglycemia, there will be various, there will be damage of various organs. There may be renal failure, there may be neuropathy, there will be that I talked about the cataract. So depending upon the situation of the animal, we should plan a treatment. But as per diabetes mellitus is concerned, the prime aim is to maintain the glucose level in normal range. So diabetes mellitus, for the treatment, the basic idea of the treatment is to maintain the normal glucose level, the blood glucose level within the normal range. So along with that, other treatment will be there. So whatever the damage has happened, you will have to take care of that, and your prime focus should be to maintain the glucose level within the normal range. That is 100 milligram per dl. So 80 to 120 is the normal range. So 100 milligram if you maintain it. And how will be maintaining? You will have to supplement insulin, because insulin is deficient in body. The beta cells might have damage. It is not producing insulin. So you will have to inject insulin at the rate of 0.25 unit per kg body weight twice daily. So you can divide this dose. You can start with this dose. After that, you will have to assess the glucose level. And if you are getting this glucose level within the normal range, you can continue with this dose. And sometimes it happens that this dose cannot be sufficient. Then you have to adjust the dose. You have to increase it point-wise, unit-wise. And when you are getting a normal blood glucose level, then you just adjust that dose and keep the animal for with the insulin of that amount or that dose rate. So there is not hard and fast rule to fix the dose of insulin. But for initiation, for starting, 0.25 unit per kg body weight is recommended. But you will have to assess the glucose level all the time. You have to monitor it regularly, and accordingly you can change the dose. There are some oral hypoglycemic agents, and basically they are being used for type 2 diabetes, and one is sulfonylurea. Then 2 other examples are there. They are earlier used, but it is of no use. Means these are not effective much. They stimulate the receptors. They make the cell capable of binding with the insulin. But in case of animals, they have been tried, but it is the success rate is very less. But the insulin supplementation is the best way to treat the diabetes mellitus case. So in diabetes mellitus, this giving or supplementing this insulin will cover up the maintain the glucose level. Along with that, the supplementary treatment, you will have to think of other things. Whatever the damage has happened, you have to treat the other things also. Whatever the organ is being involved in those cases, you will have to treat that. If the glucose level is normal, you can go for cataract operation. Cataract means you will have to remove the lens and you can transplant another lens, artificial lens in the eye. So cataract problem will be resolved. But the prime condition is you will have to maintain glucose level in the normal value. So this is the treatment. Now, one more thing, if you want to maintain the glucose level, only supplementation of insulin is not sufficient. You will have to keep the animal on a on a prescription diet. The diet should be maintained. You will have to keep the animal on low carbohydrate rich diet. No, you can give a protein rich diet or fat rich diet, but not the carbohydrate rich diet. Otherwise, the glucose level will go high. So nowadays in market, the prescription diets are available. If the animal is suffering from diabetes, you can write the diabetic diet, and it is available. From commercial diets are available. So along with insulin, diet should be maintained. Put the animal on exercise. If the animal is more obese, try to reduce the body weight. Put the animal on exercise. So these are some basic fundamentals of the treating that diabetes mellitus. But if you want to focusing on diabetes mellitus treatment, only one treatment is there. Since it is because of deficiency of insulin, you have to think of supplementation of insulin. So this is all about diabetes mellitus. So thank you. If anything else, you can ask.
सर आवाज कट रही थी, सुनाई नहीं दिया सर। जो ग्लूकोज ट्रीटमेंट शुरू करेंगे सर, ग्लूकोज लेवल उसके बाद करेंगे?
आपका नेटवर्क गड़बड़ है, आपकी आवाज मुझे भी नहीं आ रही है, आप फिर से पूछिए।
जी सर, वो नेटवर्क सही नहीं, आवाज बीच
आप फिर से पूछिए।
सर वो जब ट्रीटमेंट शुरू करेंगे, ग्लूकोज लेवल नॉर्मल आ जाएगी, कुछ बोल रहे थे सर? जो
मैं कह रहा था कि जैसे आप ट्रीटमेंट शुरू कर दिए, पहले तो ग्लूकोज हाई है, तब तो आप ट्रीटमेंट शुरू कर रहे हैं, और शुरू का डोज हमने बताया कि 0.25 यूनिट पर केजी बॉडी वेट के हिसाब से आप दे सकते हैं। अब ट्रीटमेंट आपने शुरू कर दिया और ग्लूकोज लेवल नॉर्मल हो गया उसी डोज पे, तो आप उसी डोज को कंटिन्यू करिए, ठीक है। और ये आप रेगुलरली मॉनिटरिंग आपको करनी है। अगर ग्लूकोज वो डोज दे रहे हैं, उसके बाद भी ग्लूकोज लेवल हाई जा रहा है, देन यू आर टू इंक्रीज द डोज ऑफ इंसुलिन। सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज बीइंग डन।
जी सर।
एक बार डोज जो आप देना शुरू कर रहे हैं, अगर उस पे वो नॉर्मल रेंज पे आ जा रहा है तो उतना ही देना है, इसको बंद नहीं करना है। यू कैन नॉट स्टॉप इट, यू विल हैव टू टेक इट फॉर एनिमल विल हैव टू बी ऑन इंसुलिन फॉर होल ऑफ हिज लाइफ। So you can see in the humans also, they are taking insulin throughout the life. There is nothing to do with that. और कुछ
नहीं सर।
तो इसको एक बार पढ़िएगा, मैं पीपीटी अभी सेंड कर दूंगा, हाँ ग्रुप में डाल दूंगा। वो जो डाउनलोडेड है उसमें थोड़ा वो गड़बड़ हो गया, वो फ्लो चार्ट जो पैथोजेनेसिस का है, बाकी हम आपको दे देंगे। ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
जी सर। जी सर, थैंक यू।